One rep maxes followed by 10 rep sets is a method of champions. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. If you guys would, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. If you aren't subscribed or following me yet, please hit that button and do so. And please leave me a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And yes, I threw in a little bit of my old footage in here, that old 365 close grip, an old 635 deadlift from, like 3 years ago. Everything else is current though. Everything else is stuff that I've done in the last couple weeks. So like the 500, good morning. All right, guys, so this is something I try to tell people. I'm 48. I've been doing this a while. I've studied the methods of every top strength coach in the world at this point. I've been in the game over 25 years. I coach a lot of really strong, really jacked, really fast people. And this is something I try to tell people a lot. And some people don't listen. I've seen small, weak coaches who don't even produce solid clients make claims, oh, you can't mix that and do that. It doesn't work. And I'm like, it does work. And it works even for the general populace. It works for champions. Westside proved this for decades. Westside proved this for 30 years. You can max out and then do a bunch of hypertrophy work and get super strong and super jacked. And I've done this with clients. So before I get into the whole concept here of why it even works, how many client blogs did you guys watch? Mike, Emma, some of those people who had more than 50 vlogs, meaning people who had 1 to 2 years of documented training that you guys watched on camera. How many of them trained like this? How many of them were strong and had really impressive physiques? I just gave you 2 examples. 2 of my clients who we documented for more than 50 weeks of training. Okay? What did you guys see? You guys watched Emma looking amazing, doing sumos and conventional deadlifts of 315 as a lean woman who wasn't competing in anything. Okay? You guys watched her cranking out 10 chin-ups and stuff. Lean physique that appeals to the general population. And that's how she trained. We did speed work too, but we rotated maxes with tons of hypertrophy work afterwards on a 4-day split. And then obviously speed days after. But same thing with Mike. Look how thick and jacked he got. Okay. Over here benching like 360. Right. Benching 360, squatting 500. And jacked and stacked and thick. Okay, it works. And then you guys have seen some of my other people who were really, really strong. Some of my elite lifters, 600 squats, 700 deadlifts. This is how we train, guys, and it works. But keep in mind, Mike and Emma were general population. They were not power lifters. For the record, they were non-competitors. Right? So get over to the point here. Why does this work? Why does it work? Because we get all the neural drive we need from our maxes, okay? So this is kind of a point I make. If you're doing 1 rep maxes, a lot of the neural drive and strength that you get from 3s, 4s, 5s gets devalued, okay? It does get devalued. You can get 100% of the neural drive and max effort work that you need from heavy singles, and it works. It's obviously the best approach for maximizing it. So if we're maxing out first, what happens? All right, we've covered that. So yes, you can go on to do your hypertrophy work. In fact, there's been data showing that at 10 rep sets, what are we looking for here? The muscle fiber recruitment can be superior if you do a heavy single. So if a heavy single at 90% or higher of your 1 rep max is done first, there have been studies showing better neural activation and better muscle fiber recruitment earlier in the set on a 10 rep set. Okay, so it enhances your hypertrophy work. It doesn't take away from it. So the whole idea here, if you were doing a bunch of 10 plus reps after maxing, what happens? And I'm not saying we can't do some other heavier work, but I wouldn't do a whole lot of it. 1 exercise maybe. But that's only for a power lifter, really. For everyone else, We don't need to do that at all. Just go straight to 10 plus rep sets after a max. Get in, build muscle. Okay. We can argue all day long about different rep ranges and their ability to produce hypertrophy. We all know fives can build hypertrophy. We all know they can build maximum hypertrophy. They're also beat you up a little more. Okay. They're a little harder on the joints. Higher reps produce the same muscle growth. Okay. They produce the same muscle growth, and they get you there because you create more fatigue. Okay. And people need to understand that. So you get higher mechanical tension on the muscles by creating fatigue. In other words, you fatigue the intermediate fibers. It takes a little longer with lighter weight. And then when they get too fatigued to lift the weight, usually, with about 5 to 6 reps from failure, what happens? All the fast twitch fibers have to kick in to finish the set. Okay, it is the tension that we then place on those fast twitch fibers because the slower twitch ones are no longer capable of handling the weight after a certain number of reps. Now, if it's a 5 rep or less set, it's obviously from rep 1, right? Your 6 rep max, your 5 rep max, you are not going to be able to lift it without your fast twitch fibers at all. It is not going to happen, not even for 1 rep. All right, so we create fatigue to do this, and that's okay. The end result is the same. A 6 rep set, a 10 rep set, a 20 rep set all produce hypertrophy through the same mechanism as far as we're aware, and that's the mechanical tension they place on the muscle fibers, and particularly the fast twitch fibers. People need to not worry about the intermediate fibers so much. They're going to grow no matter what through training. Don't worry about them. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about them. They maximize really quick. They stop growing by about your 3rd or 4th year of training. There's no longer any significant growth in those muscle fibers. They just stop. Okay, so the fast twitch fibers are what we want. All the rep work allows us to get to those fast twitch fibers. Granted, it takes a little longer, but it's easier on your body, your structures. It doesn't beat your joint up. So you can come in and do all your hypertrophy work, 10 reps, 12 reps, even 20 rep sets afterwards. You've gleaned all the benefits of the maximum effort, all the strength benefits, and then everything else is focused on just getting jacked. And why does that work? Because a bigger muscle has a higher force production potential. So yes, the 15 rep sets are going to increase your maxes through proxy of muscle fiber hypertrophy. Thicker muscle fibers produce more force every time. Not part of the time, always. So as long as you recruit them, the thicker muscle fiber will always contract harder than it did when it was smaller. This combination works. It works extremely well. It works consistently. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.